Welcome along, fellow drifters, to another video. Today's video, we're going to look at how to determine what parts you should be using for your extra parts and what companion you should be using. This comes as a viewer request. I will credit them right at this moment here on the video in editing. Thank you for the question. It's honestly a good question, because when you're playing through the game, it's like, what do I need? What parts do I need to focus on for like my overall builds? Like what do I need for the most optimal performance? Like that was my god hand, as you saw there. If we look at one of my XD cars for this National Conquest event, like we've got this build here. So you might be thinking, what's the how do you figure out the right setup? Like what do you need for the best setup? And we can look at another setup here, even like a car like this. This is definitely not as optimal as I'd like, but it can somewhat work. But like, yeah, we'll get into it. The three main stats that we're going to be focusing on is your top speed, acceleration, and your handling. So I'm going to explain in detail how each one works and how they all tie in together and influence each other, and how you can best optimize your builds. Nitrous does influence everything as well, but only when you use it. So I'll just quickly explain nitrous. So nitrous is when you use a nitrous bottle, your car gets quite a powerful boost. The higher your NOS stat, the stronger the boost you get from using nitrous, right? So like, anytime you use nitrous, so like I've got 5,630 nitrous there. If I use it, it will give my car quite a powerful boost. If it was lower, it wouldn't give my car as much of a powerful boost as this stat would. Since we're not going to worry about nitrous, we're just going to focus on speed, acceleration, and handling. Now, speed, so top speed, influences what the base top speed is of the car, not what the potential top speed is like after using nitrous, but just your base top speed. So like where your car stops, so where your car starts to slow down, how much it accelerates, and sort of averages out. So like some cars, especially slower cars, like you can end up getting close to like 160 or 170 kilometers an hour, and then like you'll notice the odometer doesn't increase as much. It can get to 200, it doesn't increase as much. So that is what speed does. Now, speed influences your corners a lot, because if you're entering a corner at a very high speed, if you don't have enough handling to compensate that, you're going to lose a lot of speed. That ties directly into handling, but we'll address acceleration next. Acceleration is how quick your car can get from 0 to your top speed. That is what acceleration mainly does, and it also influences your rocket starts, how quick your rocket start is. If you have low acceleration, your car is going to have a very slow rocket start, and it's going to take a very long time to get to your top speed. If you have high acceleration, your car is going to rocket start extremely quickly, and you're going to get to your top speed much quicker than you normally would. In some cars, when you get a rocket start, and you're using like full boost for an example, like you'll have a insanely fast rocket start, and then you'll notice your car like just jolts back to your top speed. You'll notice it during events. So if you use full boost and you start on a track that has a long straightaway at the start, you may notice it. So acceleration, very important, yeah, with the rocket starts and with getting your speed up, because if you lose too much speed, your car needs to have the ability to get to your top speed quicker. If your acceleration is really low and you lose a lot of speed, it's going to take forever to get back to your top speed. And then we have handling. Handling is the most important part of your build. I will say it is the essential part. Like, you need to get right, because the problem is of handling. What handling does, it determines how well your car can handle a corner when you hit goods or excellence, and how much speed you'll lose. So like if your handling is too low, you will lose a lot of speed when you're going through a corner at fast speeds. If your handling is high, you will be able to get through corners at top speeds much more easily, and you will not lose as much speed as you would when you have low handling. So it all very well ties in together. Now, I can't exactly say like the specific numbers for each kind of car, like what's the best, because to be frank, like 8-star cars are on a whole different level than like 7 stars or 6 stars or even 5 stars. And then it becomes more apparent when you get to like 4 stars and 3 stars. Like everything changes how the cars handle that. So how do you track, like how do you test what, like how if your build's going well? The best way I would do it is doing the story tracks, the highway tracks specifically. I don't know why that's saying it new, because I've already cleared these. So the tracks in question, the Curvane line, and oh no, that is the New York tracks. The New York tracks are good for testing out the different aspects of handling there. The Shibatian line. So Area 6 and Area 2 in Story 2, they are good places for testing your car's speed, acceleration, and handling, and see how well it handles up. Reason being is Curvane in Area 2 has a very long straightaway, which can help test your car's top speed. It also has a very long corner that if you enter with too much speed and your handling is not high enough, you will slow down a lot. So if you avoid using nitrous, so if I go back area 2, and we will do a test race. See, I'll show you what it looks like. So if we turn auto drive off and we do race, this will be against a boss. I should have done against an average opponent. Alright, so we're not going to use any nitrous whatsoever, and we're just going to go through this like so. Now here's this corner. If you do not have enough handling, your car's going to see my car's slowing down. If I didn't have enough handling and I entered at a top speed, I would be going very, very slow. And see, here is where your top speed like maxes out. See, my car's speed is dropping. It's around 180 kilometers an hour. Looks to be, or no, it looks to be a bit less. 178. And there we go. That is a race done. It's a good way to check how well your car can accelerate, how well it can handle corners, and what your speed is. It's a good track. It is good for testing out those different aspects. Now, what about the Shibatian track? That one is a very good one. If we go to Area 6, and we are not going to race against Hyuga. We're just going to use regular minion race. And this does take the track in... Okay, here's one direction the track can go. It can go in a different direction as well. But if we go in this reverse direction here... See, my car has a rocket started pretty well. And then we're going down this line here. And then we have a long straightaway here. Now, after this long straightaway, we have a big corner. If the car can't handle the corners well enough, you will slow down a lot. See how I didn't slow down too much, but I still slowed down? And then you have these corners here as well. If you don't have enough handling, your car will start slowing down here a lot. So this is another track. This is very good for testing out the handling aspects. And see, we managed to get a top speed of 213 kilometers an hour, 0.451 milliseconds for 0 to 60. And I didn't use any nitrous, just to demonstrate. So those tracks do give a good idea of how well your car can handle. The highway tracks in general are good. Now, what if you don't have access to the highway tracks? Well, we can go back to trusty Area and we can go back to the trusty story races. So if I just go back to our wiki here, because there's Ashigara, there's Sayotome, Yosegi, Minosawa, Kagatora, sorry, and Tsuchinoko. These are good tracks. One track where you can test your car's speed is Minosawa. Now this is the story race. Keep in mind that the Minosawa 2, the non-story version, is different. But this is another track where you can test your car's handling and speed, because if we go through these corners here, there is one big corner right before the tunnel. And then we've got a top speed section here. And then you have a sharp corner right at the start there. So it's just another good track to test out your car's handling and speed. Another track, Kagatora. That is another one we can have a look at. That one is a good track as well. Let's try this one. Oh yeah, here's a good section here. So you see, this is a bit of a straightaway section, and then it leads into a sharp corner. So really, these story tracks are good for testing out how well your car can handle these corners and how fast it can go and so on. They are good tracks to try out to practice. So yeah, that's just a few examples you can follow. Go through the tracks, try out your car, and we're going back to the parts. So let's say for example, your car is not getting to your top speed fast enough. If it's not getting to your top speed fast enough, you would need to balance the acceleration. Like, you need to increase the acceleration. That's mainly that. What about if you're going through a corner but you're losing too much speed? If you're losing too much speed when you're going through a corner, it's either you're entering the corner too fast or your car can't handle it well. So what you could do, you could try one of two things. You could either bump up the handling and test how much speed your car loses when you go through corners. If it's still losing too much speed when you're going through corners, then you need to try and knock down the speed on the car. Now, there are some cars where you might not have any extra parts tied to speed, but the speed is already ridiculously high. If we go to the picture book, we go to our top speed, you can see there is a bunch of cars that have a very high base speed. Very, very, very high speed. You see, my God Hand is only 3,900 base speed, but cars like the Pandem, like the 8-star Pandem, that has very high base speed, and when you install an engine onto it, so it's 4,555 speed, and if you install the engine that I've got here, which is 1,435, you're going to end up with almost 6,000 speed, and that is a lot of speed. So if you're using high-speed cars, you'd need a lot of handling to compensate for that. So really, it just depends on what kind of car you got. If you have a car that has very low speed, like if I bump up all these and I sort by, let's just look at 6, 7, and 8s. Let's say I don't care about the 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, because they all have low speed, right? Actually, now even better, let's get rid of these 6 stars, because heck, let's even get rid of these 7 stars for this example. Okay, here's a car I've got. Oh, I mean, look at this. The Monster Diego A90, 3,734 speed. If we install the engine that I have, you'd only get 5,169. If we change that, if we change it to 7 star, and we will pick, let's say, heck, even my XD car, 3,543, you're getting close to under 5 like under 5,000 speed. It's or this is what I've got now, 3,513. You're gonna have under 5,000 speed. So there are some cars that like just are like low on speed. If you want like the absolute lowest, you go for the GR Super Monster Edition 20, 3,196 speed at 7++, and you install the engine that I've got, you're gonna have like 4,631 speed. That is something you're gonna have to watch out for when you're tuning your cars and when you're figuring out what you need. It's very dependent on the car itself, like what is going to be more stronger, what's going to be weaker. Also, if we have a look at acceleration, for example, some cars are just going to have very low acceleration, where you're going to have to beef up the accel. Some good cars that I've got, like the Purple Shadow R34 that I had for a while and maxed. It's got very, very low acceleration, very, very low. And then if we keep the numbers, pretend I have the same grade engine, same stats, 3,215 acceleration that's not a lot for a 7-star. Like you're trying to look more closer to like the 4,000, 5,000 range. But then there are some cars where you can look, it's extremely high acceleration, 2,563. You're getting close to 4,000 base acceleration with a grade 24 engine. So it very well depends. And then also you've got your handling kings, the GR Supras from D1. They are handling kings. And then you've got some cars that are just like absolutely rubbish with handling, like absolutely rubbish. So there's a lot to work out, a lot to take in. So at the end of the day, all I can say is like it's experimentation. Test your builds out. If you're going too slow through corners, check how much your speed is, see if you can decrease it. If you can't, beef up your handling. If your car is not getting to a fast enough speed, you might need more speed, or check to see how much acceleration you've got first. Beef up your acceleration, see if that changes anything, if it makes it faster, and then go from there. But yeah, that is all I have about this subject. I don't want to ramble on too much because I'll make this video way too long. I hope this has helped to some degree. If you still have any questions, feel free to drop them in the video, or if you'd like some advice from fellow drifters, I've lost my words now. If you'd like some advice from fellow drifters, in the description will always be the link to the international Discord server maintained by N7 Rise and myself. It's just a whole community of us players, helping each other out with things, translating things, and all the works there. I highly recommend joining the Discord. I'm very active there. I'm always happy to answer questions. Yeah, feel free to stop by. With that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.